Yo, Q, what up? Yo, Q,
man,
what
I'm
up?
keeping it real. What up, Duan?
Welcome.
Let's get it.
To not just music, where we keep it real and honest.
Always.
My mama praying, telling me, Q, you need to chill. They can't respect the truth from just silence.
What's good, people, man? It's your boy Quincy Murdoch and Duan Barino bringing you another episode of Not Just Music Podcast. We got a very, very special woman, a woman of God in the house. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hey y'all, my name is Aisha Campbell. How we doing? And I'm so glad that you invited me on your podcast.
Absolutely, we glad to have you. First, let's start out, a little bit about your background, your family and stuff like that.
Oh man, let's go back to being born in 77 on the 77 child.
70s baby in the house.
Yeah, 70 baby in the house. Yes, born to Jerica Sadie Campbell, as everybody know in Statesville. She's Pastor Sadie Campbell. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right now, I feel old. I'm 45 years old, trying to become an entrepreneur at this age. Y'all trying to do the in-home care business in South Carolina, bringing it to North Carolina, and also dealing with transportation. I have a master's in logistics, so I'm trying to bring the transportation here. Everyone, if you know someone that needs truck drivers, dispatching, just call me up. I've been in the ministry for quite some time. I wasn't like born in it like some people. I was like 4 or 5. I guess that's considered born in it. I wasn't like boom, I was in church. No, my parents was 4 or 5 years. I was 4 or 5 when they decided to go to Christ. So I've been in one church, and then my mom decided to have another church. So I didn't really get saved until I started going through. So, and that was in 2004. So that's when I started. I was already in the ministry, but I didn't have that relationship, as you could say, that seriousness about being in the church.
Okay. Now that you said that, my next question, cause before I answer this, I will say, I kind of had your story. Like, I had a relationship with God, but I got serious when when I went through a situation. So, what was that? If you can talk about it, what was that moment that made you get serious with it? Like, actually want to just give your all into Christ,
Just my testimony. Many of you, some of you probably cannot relate at Touch Home. Some of you might not relate. Mm-hmm. I married a trial. And when I say I married a trial, I'm married to an abuser. The story is so... I think I can testify the Diary of a Mad Black Woman was my story a little, due to the fact that I met my deceased husband in 2000. Yeah, I was still at High Point University in 2000. Didn't know he was abusive. Didn't know that it was just like, oh God, I'm in a new place, out my parents' house, because my parents was so strict. Wow. If anybody know, my parents was strict. I wasn't allowed to do like everything, like go and play. I had to join a band just to go to football games. That's how strict they was. Yeah. They was that strict. So I'm that type of person. That's all my older sister couldn't do. So I tried to, let me one up my parents so I can go to the football games, the basketball games. Yeah. So whenever you in college, you were like, oh my God. When I was in, as a freshman, I was still asking my mom, can I go to go to the cafeteria? Can I go to the basketball? I was still doing that. And I had to realize I'm grown. Yeah. And so whenever I got out, and I say that little part because when the old people say when you green and dumb, you start accepting stuff. So whenever we got married, he told me he had two kids.
Okay.
That was not true. My child makes the 8th child.
Wow.
He hid that from me. The fights was terrible. I mean, I got drugged while I was pregnant with my child.
I'm sorry about that.
I know. I got drugged when I was carrying my child. It was he worked on cars, so now my cars and he know how to do your cars where you couldn't drive or go get help.
Oh my God.
It wasn't like that. I didn't fight back because let the record reflect that you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. That was bottom line. But the thing about him, he had the cops and the judge on his side. He knew them because he worked on their cars.
Wow.
So it was like fighting a battle that I only knew that God could rescue me. Because at this point, and that's the reason why I had to run to God, because my kids was like 1 and I just had another one. So him and his mom used to take my kids from me, hide them out, couldn't find them, picking them up from daycare. You know, if you do not have the papers of custody, they can pick up your child anytime they want to, because neither parties have custody of your kids. So there's nothing I could do. State of North Carolina is jacked up.
It is.
So if somebody go and take a warrant out on you, you got to get arrested.
I've been there.
You been?
I've been there. Yeah, you right.
You got to get arrested.
No questions asked.
No questions asked. You go to trial. They can go and accuse you of hitting on them, and that's what he did as a female. So it kept being, he kept going to the courthouse. I'm getting locked up for no reason at all. Yeah. So at this point, I'm hiding from the police because a sign on your door saying you got a warrant for your arrest. So I had my little infant. You know, you can't put the hotel in your name because then they'll fine you by the hotel. So I had to get people. And am I talking loud?
Oh, you good?
Yeah,
okay,
you good.
Sorry. You on point. You on point.
So I had to get people to sign for hotels with my infant baby. At this point, it got so bad, and I'm gonna tell this story. Like somebody said, I'm telling the story to the glory of God. But it got too bad where I was trying to go to school at the same time. And you could tell signs that when a person is over you. They sleeping on the couch. I'm giving you clues, girls. They sleeping on the couch.
Hey, this and I sorry to cut you off.
No.
We I want you to really get into this, because it's a lot of women out there that's dealing with this situation that you could save, you know, that's in this situation. So
I'm saving you, and plus probably you're helping other men too. Because absolutely. If you see the signs, the red flags, don't drag the red flags. Because right now, you saying, oh, this blah, blah, blah. Now you dragging the red flags. When you see him or her sleeping on the couch, when you get into it over little stuff, like me and him got into it over a toothpaste lid. Stuff like that. We getting in fights about that. Then I'm in school, had infant kids. At this point, I had it. I got tired of being arrested. It was like back and forth. So he had like an attorney, and I ain't gonna mention the attorney's name because of legal stuff.
Exactly.
But when the last time we fought, this was in the streets, and I was giving it to him. I was giving it to her and him, and I didn't fight her just because he was messing with her. I mean, because whenever I was pregnant and had my baby, she was there at my house while I was giving birth. So she was at the house. So, but then when it just built up, when she was just talking junk to me, he was talking junk. So we were fighting in the streets. Yeah. Ambulance was called. I wasn't in the ambulance. They was in the ambulance. So I got arrested. There's nothing I could do about it. The grace of God, it was this Miss Grace. Thank you, Miss Grace. she had to put up like $10,000. I had to file temporary custody of my kids and get my kids back.
Sorry to cut you off. How long was you in there?
I was in there for 2 days.
I was in there for like 2-3 hours and I was done.
I was in there for 2 days and I couldn't believe it. You know, you already mad and you already got stories in your head about what jail life and prison life is.
Yeah.
And here's these girls coming. I came in, I guess I got there late because I had to get the floor.
Yeah.
I had to get the floor. So, girls coming, hey new girl. At this point I wasn't this big. I'm a bit on steroids, but that's why I gained this weight. But I wasn't this big. So I was like, oh snap, I gotta go fight these people. They're coming to
Serious.
me. I got in my stands. You know, you gotta get in your stands like you don't know what's gonna go on when you in jail, especially a female. And then my hair was done, my nails done.
So they hating on you.
Yeah.
You know?
So I was like, you know, you need to back off. I backed them off real quick, and that was like, okay. And then at the end we had a conversation that was saying what you in for, and I was like, then I saw people putting chips in they was in survival mode, putting chips in their socks and stuff. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? I am not used to this environment. But luckily, the reason why I can't say the attorney's name because the attorney got frustrated with him and started helping me.
Yeah.
So that's a conflict of interest.
That's very understandable. Yeah, we don't want to mention names.
Yeah.
We don't want to mention names. They remain unanimous.
Right. So that's what happened. He was like, because it doesn't make sense. You keep getting letters of warrants and stuff, and you didn't do nothing to him. And I hate that state of North Carolina is like that. So then I had to trust God because I kept getting in trouble. I kept getting unnecessary trouble that I didn't. But my parents told me not to marry him. I didn't listen. Wow. So it was like a self-inflicted wound. Because women, just because somebody look good, smell good, got the nice clothes, don't mean it's for you. That's your need, not your want. God got somebody that you need in your life, not what you want in your life. And you got to take heed to my story. And everybody's story is different. But take heed to this story because everybody that say, and our first date was the church. That was the crazy part about it.
Wow, really?
The first date was the church. He was in the choir. Everybody that's jumping and shouting and saying, Lord, Lord, it's not Lord, Lord. You better go deep into that thing.
Hold on. So that's powerful, right? Your first date was the church.
First date was the church.
Wow.
First date was the church. He died and before we was back and forth, he lied and said the kids lived with him. He was a compulsive liar. He was so good in a narcissist behavior. Anybody ever dealt with a narcissist behavior know the signs of a narcissist behavior. When they try to get you away from your family and your friends, watch out because something is about to go down. You gotta have that communication with your family and friends. Once he get you separated from them,
it's over.
It's over because he gonna have in your head, don't nobody. I was wearing I didn't eat. I was wearing size 8. I was still called fat and I was still called ugly. And I had low self-esteem. That's why I still got it today. I'm trying to build it up. But I was just called all kinds of stuff. I mean, his family they still not supportive. It's just like, so I had to run to God.
All right, my question. When you reached that fed up point and you understood that it was time to go, and I understand you might have still had some love for him, or was it a thing that you were already fed up and just ready to go?
I was fed up and ready to go. I was fed up. I was fed up because the women. I was fed up when the abuse. I was fed up where he had the whole neighborhood against me.
Wow.
I was fed up with the cops.
Yeah,
I was so fed up with them. It was to the point, and it's particularly, I don't know, I forgot this black cop name and this white cop name, but especially the black cop. He was like, I'm sick and tired of you, and I had to I'm sick and tired of you too. So it was like, because you knew the system, and when people are like that, you got to be a step ahead of them, regardless of the fact. One thing that he taught me the law and how to step ahead of a narcissist behavior. Yeah. Because whenever, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I want to say one thing. Cut you all right there. I feel like the two most types of people in this world that have more to prove, that goes through the most, is the black man, the black woman. I feel because it's like if it's a black man and a black woman, and the woman is in trouble, they're most likely, sometimes, it can be sexist. They're not gonna believe these accusations a woman is saying. And then you have some, like the man, he might be in the right position, and they blame him. So at the end of the day, I feel like nobody goes through more than the black man, the black woman in this world.
All right.
Yeah. So you can go ahead.
And the piggyback, and I know black men, y'all feel like, but God, black women, we go through so much on our jobs, because one thing, we're not into sports. Other nationalities, they can relate. Oh, y'all basketball, this part, blah blah blah. But at the same time, they look over black women, because I'm seeing today on people podcasts, more and more African American males are putting black women down, and I'm trying to say, what is going on?
Yeah, right.
Every black woman is not the same.
That's true.
So don't treat us like we ghetto and we hood, because we're not. And every black woman is not sitting here twiddling their thumbs and haven't been educated, because I'm sitting here with a master's degree. Not that I brag and boast about my master's degree, but it is something that that was my goal to set for my daughters. That we can be smart just like anybody else, any race. And that's what I tell my daughters. Don't sit here and be the statistic. Beat the statistic.
Now, is it having daughters? The crazy part about it is, and this is just me being me, because I had twin girls.
Okay.
Be 13 years old in October. And I couldn't imagine putting them in a position to see me over the top with their mother. It's like I can't imagine putting a visual in their brain to,
it's like you heartless when you do that, especially when you do it in front of the kids.
Yeah,
let me tell you this. When I got arrested, it was in front of my kids. He arrested me in front of my kids. When they went, and the cops all of a sudden gave him my kids on the spot, and they took him and his girlfriend. I'm married to him. Him and his girlfriend took papers out with my kids.
Your kids could have got harmed, been in a bad position,
with my kids. How you go to the courthouse, take my kids to the courthouse, you and your girlfriend, to fill out papers on their mother?
Iredell County, we got to do better, man. The system got to do better. Okay, so now it seemed like me meeting you, now it seemed like more now you fighting in Christ, like using that energy, that anger, and fighting in Christ. Because every time I see you, you real passionate with your singing, with your testimonies and all that. So when you say you reverse the energy into a negative, into the positive, instead of fighting negatively,
I am using that to doing everything in the church as positive energy. And everybody know my story of how I got sick twice, almost died probably 3 times with the gun, the ITP, with the stroke. So it's like I'm fighting for my life here. And I just want to hear well done.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a question then.
Yes.
With going in and being in church,
right?
what as being a Christian,
Right.
it makes some people think that, you know, you jump into being a Christian, life becomes easier.
It gets harder.
And for me, that's what it's always been. Like my faith has grown so much since my earlier years of being in church. Like, I mean, I'm one of those people that's been in church all my life. So to see and to be in situations where the most times that I've been tested the most have been when I gave my life to Christ.
Right.
Did you experience all of this hurt while you were a Christian? Or
I didn't experience it, this much hurt while I was not a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did. This was hurt. I did experience hurt while I was out in the world. This was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you can just say God chastised who he loved.
Mm-hmm.
I did experience some stuff while I was in Christ as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, almost bled to death, like the woman with the issue of blood.
Mm-hmm.
It's called ITP. It's got a long name.
Mm-hmm.
I had a sister. God, I was noticing, and you can see some fragments of my skin like changing colors or whatever. I still gotta go to the doctor about that. I started seeing color, and then I started bleeding at the gums. It got to the point where I was just bleeding, couldn't stop. My eyeballs was bleeding.
Wow.
Blood was popping above my skin, and I went to the hospital in Statesville. They sent me back bleeding everywhere. So I said, Ma, I'm gonna go. I was weak at this time. When you bleed like that,
Yeah.
you weak. It's like your bones is just shutting down. So couldn't nobody tell me at the urgent care what was going on with me. I went to the hospital. I went to the emergency room in Iredell when I lived in Greensboro. So when I went to Greensboro, I said, let me just get up and go to the urgent care, because right now I have blood vessels just popping in my eyes, blood pellets in my mouth, just bleeding everywhere, gums just bleeding, couldn't stop bleeding. I put pressure on it, it's still a bleed, seeing my skin. So I was like, something is wrong. Went to urgent care. They took my blood, and then I heard the nurse yell, and then I started crying, and I was like, oh Lord, what? She was like, they was already at the hospital in the emergency room. Why they didn't take care of? She panicked, which caused me to panic. And then the doctor came in there. I was crying. He was like, I didn't do it. And then he was like, your platelet count. Platelets is one that clots your blood. He was like, your platelet count is not even reading.
Wow.
So he was like, we're gonna have to call the emergency room in Greensboro. And he was like, don't get cut, don't get nothing. Just stay by the phone and we'll call you. So I went to work. And when I went to work, I got that call to go to the emergency room. That was it was just down the street, but seemed like it took hours to get there. And so, you had a question? Oh,
no, go ahead.
So it took us hours. So I found out I had ITP. That was going to give me blood transfusion, but they pumped me up with so much steroids. I was on steroids. Then I got in the support group. If you ever have any diagnosis, get in the support group, because if you get in the support group, they can better tell you what to get from the doctor than anything. So I started. It was just me and my girls. No help.
So I'm sorry to cut you out. So was this when you had transformed into like being like both foots in the Christ?
Yeah.
Okay.
In church.
Okay. So I will say this, and I don't know if it's true to your situation, but I feel like the situations you went through, that I went through before I had turned my life to Christ, like I panicked a lot because I felt like I was in control of the situation.
Right.
But when you get that faith with God, you don't worry as much because you know He's gonna work it out.
Yeah.
You know, like it might look bad, but you got to think this is for a reason. Like things are gonna change. You know, and that's the kind of faith that some people don't have until you experience it. You know.
And I had another incident, but when I took chemo, I had my daughters with chemo. I faked that because when you get chemo, you get sleepy, tired, whatever. So I was still being a mom. They didn't realize how bad chemo was, and I was still being a mom. I picked them up, still did everything, cooking, cleaning. I just slept, hurried up and got them, and still being mom. No help, no nothing.
Say that.
And then let me tell you another story about faith. I don't know if we have time about faith. Whenever you get in Christ, this is the good thing. You always have a minister angel with you, telling you what to do.
Yes.
I kept having bad headaches. I was like, oh my God, my head is hurting. It hurt. Or went to urgent care. I think I have sinuses. They gave me medicine. Now I'm throwing up. And then I said, if I can just get to the church, if I can just get my foot on the ground, I think I'd do better. I got my foot on the ground, and I told my sister, take me back home. I need to go back. She took me back over my mom's house, and something said, get up and go to the hospital now. And I told that minister angel, I said, give me time. Give me just a little bit more time. I got to get my strength up to get my clothes on. And then I got my clothes on. Something says, go. You gotta go. And I said, okay. I'm in the car now. And then something kept saying, push the gas. And I said, please give me time. I'm over here like I gotta not throw up anymore.
Yeah.
So I went into the hospital, and I was like, and I said, I don't even have strength to even park. I finally parked, went in there, and there was some kids in front of me. They was getting checked out. And I was like, hurry up, lady. I'm going to throw up again. And I know people might have a sick stomach. And then it was like, so she checked me in, and I sat down. The Spirit says, start crying. The lady who checked me in walked by, and I started crying while she walked by. And she was like, are you okay? I said, no, lady, I'm so weak. I don't even know how I'm going to walk. Whenever you called by name, she was like, well, we're going to try to hurry up and get you a room. I said, okay. Came and, do I need to stop?
Oh, you good.
Okay, came and gave me a room. At this point, I done kicked my shoes off, got in and then the doctor came in, and he was like, ma'am. And I was like, I've been having a headache. And I said, my head been hurting, and I'm tired. And that's when they gave me an MRI. The doctor, go ahead.
No, you go finish up what you were saying. I got a question after you finish.
The doctor gave me an MRI and told me, came and woke me up, and I was like, sir? He was like, ma'am, you got blood on your brain.
Wow.
Had 2 blood clots, had a stroke.
Wow.
Okay, so wow, man. So let's talk about some positive things. You got two smart daughters. Nah, we wanna show them.
I like the story, though.
Yeah, it's a deep story. But it's some light to the story.
Light to the story.
So that was like the one side, people. So this is the other side. So I go to her church, her mother's church. She has 2 amazing daughters. They're in college. Both of them, let me say that, are in college, doing well. She's a great mother. You know, like you have to give out accolades to, you know, our people when it's called for, because we don't get enough. You know,
right. That's true.
So how would you talk about your children, man? Like, what's the good thing about being a parent? What do you love, enjoy the most?
What I love being, it's just me and the girls. So God, they got 2 different personalities. 2 different. One to sing. One of my daughters, she sings, Ahsia.
Okay.
She been singing ever since she was 4 or 5.
Wow.
She been in praise and worship ever since then. My Nigeria is very intelligent. She was the top person in her class in the 8th grade that had the highest GPA. So I am proud about that.
That's what's up. That's what, Duan.
What is it like being a, as we call, preacher's kid, PK? What's the? I'm gonna ask the question like this, because I know it's. I grew up with a couple of them, and I'm not saying like you're under an eye like all the time.
We are,
but it's like the consistency of it always being there. Even I'm sure you're 45, and I'm still sure that there's like a feeling there. Like I'm not saying like you have to always like you feel it. You just know it's there. So what has it been like growing up even from childhood all the way to now? Is it different?
It's different. It's different. The pros is, I think everybody know you. Yeah. The con is you gotta walk a walk and put on this front. Some PKs don't put on the front. It is what it is. That's my mama and my dad. That's their thing. We wilding out. But with my siblings, there's God. It's like I don't know. We have a conversation. It can be like rough, but we one of those PKs. We usher. You see, some PKs don't usher. So we do music. Some PKs don't do music. We feed people. Some PKs don't. We do the opposite of some people. Put people
in hotels when they don't have houses.
Right.
Y'all talk about it.
Active.
We with me, I have put people in hotels when they need it. I have did the clothing ministry. I have did the food ministry. I have went to the hospital and gave out toys on the children ward. That's me. That's from my heart. It didn't come. I did it for not for the church. It's for what I want to do. I kind of put stuff aside, and it's like, it ain't just for the church to get glory and fame. It's from the heart. It's from the heart.
And I feel like the more you go through in life, it makes you a better person and want to give back and help people, so I totally understand that. It kind of molds you into a better human being. Well, it should, your situations like that.
And if nothing else too, like, is from what I know, it's not like it's not a bad thing to be a PK. To me, it's no different than my dad is a deacon at this church right down here, right as you coming up.
Right.
That's why I basically born and raised in that church right there. And
we don't get invited. This is the sad part about it. As young, if we was young, we don't get invited to the cookout. We do not get invited to the cookouts. So I guess most time, if whenever people have cookouts, we so used to us being together we don't get invited to the cookouts because my family, they still smoking and drinking and whatever, and they want to have choking, and they want to have respect for my mom, so we don't get invited.
That's messed up. To me, if it's that bad off.
Hey, Pastor, she say she ain't going. She said she'll be like, I went, but I ain't like that music. I didn't like that music.
But see, that's that. I like for that to be the case. I've never been one to push a pastor away from coming around real, because a lot of pastors understand that everybody is not at that point,
right?
And they won't be judgmental, even if it's the case, or they may leave and be like, well, not my kind of music. They were doing a whole lot of drinking, they were doing a whole lot of smoking, whatever it was, they were doing a whole lot of cussing. Anything to the nature of that it was it made them uncomfortable, but they weren't they're not so tied in that they're judgmental and pointed out.
Right.
Because every minute of, well, don't do that now.
But they're standing by what they are. That's a real pastor.
Yeah.
Practice what you preach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And there's nothing to say that they can't be realistic people too. Because it's not saying that. I mean, I've known a lot of pastors that could go around it and still get a message across and not even be overbearing with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I know it's still the case. So still, a lot of people shouldn't shy their family away just because that's the church bunch right there. And it's crazy that we get labeled as that. But even though the sake of saying, shoot, I know how to have a good time too. I'm saying.
Well, we still don't get invited, and then if my mom put it on, they know. If my mom say, okay, we're gonna have a family reunion, it's gonna be on a Sunday, and it's gonna be. They gonna think it's boring.
There ain't gonna be none of that.
I know it's not. It's not.
Yeah, I'm past the point of judging. Especially with coming with,
But see, people don't understand. If you do that's what you do. That's not what I do. That's what I. But still, don't think I'm gonna be judgmental if you do it. That's you.
And see, that's the
people don't
point.
People do not grab that concept. That's you. If you want to do it, that's you.
Yeah.
I'm not God. I'm not gonna say, oh, don't. I'm not gonna hang around you because you.
But at least have enough respect to put it out when you see the pastor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Have enough respect, and I feel like if you hang around them enough, you'll change. You'll want to put that weed down.
And in most cases, they're more judgmental than we are.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's that feeling, that guilty conscience that make you feel like oh, okay, like they judging me now, like they, you know what I'm saying? When that's your conscience,
exactly.
Right? They don't understand that's their conscience. Cause you know what, I'm still gonna say hey to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna change the notes. It ain't gonna change the notes of what I do, and that's just being real though.
Right.
That's the part I always say. Like, we're real people too. I mean, just don't put the Christian mark on me so tight that you think I'm just like a stick in the mud or something like that. I'm not gonna come be judgmental, none of that stuff like that.
People will put that Christian mark on you so tight till you can't even breathe.
Yeah.
They will put that Christian mark on you so tight you can't breathe.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they would do it.
And see, this is one thing I've learned too. I didn't want to be. I've made so many friends. I mean, like I said, I haven't been perfect all my life.
Nobody is, bro.
Can I ask y'all a question?
Yes.
Why is there's so lack of men in the church versus the women? What are we as Christians are not gravitating more men to the church, but it's so many women? What's the issue?
I feel that the times now, I feel like if you look at the world, a lot of men are playing the women roles. They sensitive.
Right.
They soft. I'm gonna just call it what it is. They soft. A lot of women, like a man go through something or get criticized or told something, he cries, and a woman is strong. She's playing the man role. So I feel like a man is not really gonna come to church because he doesn't want to feel like he's wrong. Like his ego is too big. Like they too sensitive now. When women are tough, they went through these situations where they had to play the man and the woman role, so they're tough. They can deal with that tough word. When men, like, you say something to them, they run. And I think that's why it's a lot of men not in the church. Also. But
they run to prison, but they won't run to church.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump in right here. I'm gonna give you my point too, because that was a good point, Q. Like we shot our Father's Day podcast last week. If those that's watching, please go look at that. That was a very good shoot between me and Q. Please go check that out.
Check it out.
If you're on our website right now, just scroll up. It's right above it. But I think it's generational too.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you why. And this is me. I'm gonna give you my point on it. Like with me, like how Q explained, you have the sensitive man that gets to express now, and it's different because a man actually gets to express, show feelings, and have that type of, I can show my feelings, I can show my hurt, and it should be accepted. Me, I already knew when Sunday morning came, I better be up, motivated, cause my daddy gonna come back there, or my mama gonna come back there and ask me, and if nothing else, if I was already at the young age, they already had my outfit picked out. So it wasn't like a thing of option. Like now, that's what I feel like now. Like
you got a choice.
There's an option to go to church or not. And me, it's not saying that I was forced. It just, as they say, raise up a child. That's what you're going off of. I'm not going off of man, I ain't going to church. What? No, I ain't going to church.
Question. Mm-hmm. So if there's a lack of men, and you have a son right there.
Yeah. If
there's a lack of men in the church, do you think that they're gonna say, well, I never saw men or my dad in church or whatever, because you got a mother and father in the household. So what about the ones that don't have a father in the household, that they don't see praising God, that they don't see worshiping God, that they don't see picking up their Bible, but only see in the streets?
That's I think Pastor preached on this yesterday. Like, when you're in an environment and everybody's doing the same thing or not doing something, you gonna do the same thing. Like, if you don't have an example, like, if you don't have the power, your own will to understand, and a lot of people don't understand. If you wasn't raised in the church like me, I had to go through situations to get there. Like, my mom wasn't in the church, my dad wasn't there. Like, my mom's faith was there, but I don't think it was like to the extreme to where it was like God is in control. Like, she was still worried. And I feel like if I wouldn't have went out there and went through things on my own, I wouldn't have got to that level of faith, So at the end of the day, it's like you kind of adapt to your environment, you know what I'm saying? But you have to educate yourself. If people hearing this, like, don't let your environment, your family, whatever, dictate what road you go to. God is the choice. God is not the choice. God is the only option. God is the only option. So, I mean, I always put God first, no matter what, over family, friends, all that. Because God is going to set your tone and your footsteps, all inputs of your life,
But how do you say this? Oh, you had a question. I done switched roles here. I'm sorry.
You good.
So how is it that we can reach more men? I mean, even if you say that, how are you going to get somebody to switch a man's mindset?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna answer this because I know this. I know that. And I hate this. I hate to say this like this. A woman.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because the nature of the way women have the consistency of understanding nurture,
right,
without even, y'all don't have to try. Right. It's just there. Y'all are built to nurture. And like you just said, like how we used to have an example to look at, we don't have that example like we used to.
Yeah.
So for me, from what I've seen, just like with Q, he speaks highly of your mother. Highly of your mother. And for me, that's big.
Right.
That's what it's gonna take, because the nature of a woman has that part there that a man, and I've
and let me say this right quick. Like, you see how her mom drew me in.
Yeah.
So if she can do that for me, imagine what she can do for a lot of men out here.
And that's pointing the whole direction.
But the thing is, I think, as we were saying, I think that would help also to get more men. Set a platform for her to reach more people. Like, because she's a person that needs to be heard. Mm-hmm. She could actually, affect a lot of men. I feel it. She can just be, she ain't got to say nothing. Just be in the room and I feel the power. Like, she's that serious. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, bro.
And see, no. This you're giving good points, and that's the part what I'm talking about. Like and it doesn't even per se say that it has to be, your mother. Just
right.
Like for me, any woman that isn't afraid to bring a man into the church,
right,
is the most powerful tool a man can have. Firstly, because a woman that puts God first, you could go a long way with. And it's not even saying like, a woman has the woman has the touch of the it's perfection, but still, as I say, that nurturing part,
right?
The heart. That's what I'm trying to get to. The heart is it overwhelms a man in the nature of that's in need.
A good woman will break the strongest man down,
and it's obvious.
It's true.
And that goes to my point for all those men that's listening and saying women are not supposed to preach. The devil is a lie. Then the fact that with love, it said in the Bible, husband, love your wife. It never gave the command of a woman to love, because women, we love. It come natural. Some of us now, some of us, we need some work, but majority of us, we have that. We want to love and nature everything. I'm over here when I saw the babies, I was like, oh, the baby. That's our instinct. We have an instinct. We want to gravitate, and that goes back to our community. What happened to our community where we stopped loving each other, where we can't get on other people's kids? We done stopped that. Somehow we got, especially our African American culture, we have got away from that.
Here we go.
Exactly.
We have got away from that. And we need that back. We need that back where we taking care of each other
y'all,
in our community.
That's it right there.
We need that back, because we got to stand or we're going to fall for anything.
Yes,
just like we don't have our own hospitals. We don't have our own hair product things. We don't have our own. We need to get back to that. Where we showing love and compassion, where we don't need your grocery store.
That's
we already got our grocery store. Well, we don't need your money because we doing the trade. And okay, you got potatoes, I got onions. We're gonna switch.
It's so simple.
It's simple.
It's simple.
We need our own, and we need to come as a community so we can. It's baby boy and baby girl. It's not that hard. We done made it hard because we done let too many different cultures come in. We have let people raise our kids that's on television that don't know. I'm so used to, my grandma's name was Big Mama. I'm so used to the big mamas and the net coming in and cultivating us and sitting us down, telling us stories and how they made it over.
We done had the enemy tell us that our race wasn't nothing, that we're nothing, we're not important, when we are important. They know our power. We're the most powerful people ever on this planet.
If Israel and Judah do not stand up,
I'm telling you,
we're gonna have to stand up. Because at this point, and let me tell you something, and we're gonna have to get back to, and this is the sad where we done lost stuff, because we used to go and do natural herbs to heal our bodies. Like if I was taking some of these herbs, I'm like, something is in the atmosphere where you getting headaches and allergies. Where we was back in the days, and I told you I was born in the 70s. I could play in the grass and did not be affected. But now we're affected by what's coming down. But we was never affected by this when we was young. What happened? What happened to the churches coming and being I said this yesterday, being the welfare system.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And that's all this you're giving is like perfect.
It's facts.
I mean, like I couldn't I love for especially the black community to wake up. I just said this last week. We have to wake up. We've been asleep. I don't know where we went into this coma.
We've been fighting each other. We killing each other.
I don't know where we went.
It's too much. It's too much. And as a it's like as a mother, I just want to go and take. I want to just go take a belt and start beating, and whoever I land on, that's who get it.
Who gonna get it? Most of these kids now, and this is what I was saying last week too. The control factor is way different than what it was. Like saying, 80s, 90s.
The kids running over the
2000 came, and then moving in 20 teens came. Now we're in the 2020s now. It's like you just wonder, like you said, where did Big Mama go? Like, where is she?
Where that belt at?
Yeah.
You know what? This is what in my mind, and it, please don't allegedly quote whatever. Please don't get mad at me when I say this. Mm-hmm. What happened? Y'all let the system come in and separate families.
Yep.
Single mothers, and I'm sorry, ladies.
No, preach on. This is important right here. Go ahead. This is important. Mm-hmm. She's talking to the women. Mm-hmm.
It's single women. We sitting here babysitting our young men, and really a man should be raising a man. So, but we put effeminate stuff in them. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry to say, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all a man. Yeah. I'm sorry. And then we sitting here, they can't even cut grass. They don't even know how to change a tire. They don't even know how to do some of this stuff because y'all sit here and jumped on this welfare and then saying the father's not present in there, and you know the father is trying to be present, but you keeping that kid away from the father. Don't do that. I'm sorry if and then I done seen some stuff where they mad because they got the son's haircut. That's their bonding time.
Yeah. Like it's like you want us to be a father, but then you don't want us to be. Like, what you want?
And I'm saying
what
this.
You want, ladies?
And I'm saying this because if my child's kids was living, I wouldn't be going through half of this stuff. And I'm saying that I am definitely a single mother because their father is deceased. Been deceased in 2008. And I wish to God they would have a chance to be with their father, do things with their father, and see how and I hope and pray that if he was living, to show his daughters how a man should treat a woman. So they would not fall in love for nothing.
And you got women nowadays that want to hold the kid hostage because they don't like the dad. Mm-hmm. And all this woman said she went through, and she just said that she wishes her kids had a bond with their father. That means a lot. That says
means
a lot.
A lot.
You putting the kids first over how you personally feel, and that's what it's about when you become a parent. You know. I'm sorry, it's get to me right here, man.
I'm glad you got to the point where you're healing. It's not a thing of you're at a point where you're still caught in that ugly place. A lot of women that I've known over the years aren't strong or built like you.
You sure?
I know. Listen to me. They're not. And I'm gonna tell you, I've seen hurt go for so long with certain people, certain women, just due to that something that you went through. They probably didn't even go through half of that. And they're still caught in that place where it still has them stuck. So for me, I'm gonna ask you this, and this is a kind of a closing situation. Do you think that it'll ever come a time when you yourself, and I know you said you had a lot of avenues, I see something way different for you, and this is just the nature of just speaking, not even due to the podcast, but your story is about to be heard. I'm really about to put this story on blast.
I told her.
And with you coming like you did, do you ever think that you could pass this on in the nature of maybe by book, maybe by video, maybe
Everybody asked that question.
We need a movie or
Everybody said, one girl said she's gonna write a book about me. And then somebody asked me to write a book about my life. I didn't have it like, Lord, because when you have a stroke, you forget stuff. But because I told you I was in the hospital, I forgot what an elephant was. So some things I've written down. I don't know where that thing was, but my notes. If somebody would tell my story, I'd tell it.
Yeah,
I would tell it. It doesn't matter if it can heal somebody and say, okay, if she can be healed, if she went through, a bruise, almost died with a blood thing, and then the stroke, and forgot how I can heal too. You know, and then and you're not gonna all of a sudden do that, but you gotta think. Before my husband left this world, this is what I did. I know this is gonna sound crazy. I said, since you think I'm your enemy, please forgive me for anything I've done wrong to you. And then he was like, okay, I'm forgive, but he never said please forgive me, but that was okay. That was okay if he didn't ask me to forgive him. That was okay, but long as I did. And then the next week he died. If you do not forgive that person and ask that person, because some people in their mindset, they crazy mindset, they think that you're their enemy. If you ask for forgiveness, because now they're mind tricking you, the enemy. And it says, what it said in the Bible, if your enemy hungry, feed your enemy. If your enemy thirsty, give them some water. Now you the enemy. Now you got to ask for forgiveness, because in their mind you the enemy, but you thinking they the enemy. But ask for forgiveness, because if that person pass away and you never said forgive me,
it's on your conscience.
That's gonna be on your conscience, and it's not on my conscience now because I asked for forgiveness.
I just want to close it out.
Yeah, close us out. Close us out, bro.
I want to close it out by saying, I'm blessed to have you here today.
I'm so excited.
Glad I invited you here. We're gonna be looking out for that book when it come out. I want one signed. Like, really, because this story motivate me. Hey, it ain't just motivating the women, it's motivating me. You know, I know it's gonna touch some men out there too. So once again, it's Not Just Music podcast. Y'all stay tuned, more to come. Love y'all. Peace.